So Ghana lost at home to Niger. Believe it or not, Ghana lost at home to Niger by 2 goals to 1. And it was the game number 6 of the qualifying series for the AFCON 2025. Group F, Ghana lost by 2 goals to 1. I want to quickly check 5 things that we saw from today's game. So these are things that we noted from the game. 5 things that we noted from the game. Number 1, the coach had the lineup wrong. The coach had the lineup wrong. And let me proceed to explain. So he started with a 3-back system, and then because he played 3-back, the other day some people were struggling to understand when I said that if you play a 3-back system, you either shot in the middle or in attack. I was surprised people were arguing about this. If you're 2 and 3, your wing backs are not able to add up numbers up front, you definitely shot, because 5 players are stuck at the back, and then you have 5 to distribute between the middle and the attack. So clearly you have shortfalls going forward. In today's game, he played a 3-back system, and then up front he decided to play Ranford Yeboah Kenisdorfer and Ernest Nuama. What that meant clearly was that we started the game without a number 9, when indeed he had a number 9 on the bench. So when he introduced Jerry Efie of Tot FC, he scored, and he proved that in the game that we were playing, we needed a number 9. So Otoado had it wrong, and that is the first thing that we saw. Once the lineup officially came, we saw that there could be something wrong, and indeed it manifested in the game. Now the funny thing was that when we started the game and he realized that he needed a number 9, he still didn't trust Jerry Efie, because apparently he had already said that the Black Stars is not a trial ground for under 20 players, and so he was not interested to bring Jerry Efie. But he decided to play Osman Bukari as a number 9 midway when he pulled out Nathaniel Ejay. So clearly the first thing was that the lineup was wrong. That is the first thing. The second thing we realized from today's game was the formation that the coach adopted, the system, his tactics. He decided to go for the 3-5-2, 3-back. Then the middle was Isaac Afwo on the left side, Kingsley Schindler on the right. Then 3 midfielders, Kudus Mohammed as the number 10. Number 6 was Abu Francis, and then Suleimana. So that is the 3-5-2. Then with Ranford Yeboah and Nuama as the leaders in attack. The problem with the system is that he played players who are not comfortable with what he wanted them to do. How many days did Otoado train with this particular back system and decided to play Isaac Afo as a left wing back? Isaac Afo has been playing for Samates, and as Samates, his coach, Nuruddin, doesn't play him as a wing back. I always tell people that it is not, football is not mathematics, 1 + 1, then you write 2. No, football is not like that. So players normally play the system that they are very comfortable with. So you can check sometimes when Man City players move to their national teams, some of them struggle. Reason is that their club size, at club side, they play the possessive football. They play the touches football. You touch to the nearest player, you touch to the nearest player. If you go to your national team and the coach is adapting the long balls, and you are a Manchester City player, typically you will struggle, because that is not what you are used to. So for players who are not deployed in that particular system or tactics, and you want to reduce them to that, they will struggle. And clearly that is what I saw today. So apart from the first one, getting the lineup wrong, the system that he adopted was also wrong. And to prove that the system was wrong, the coach himself realized the system was wrong. And around the 36 minutes or so, he pulled out Nathaniel Ejay from the 3-back system to revert to 2 central defenders and then bring in an additional attacker to confirm what I said initially. Now, once you play that system, you are lost in attack. So he decided that let Osman Bukari come in attack, and then he took out Nathaniel Ejay. It proves the point I'm making, that the system was wrong. Now, let's go to another problem that I identified in today's game. We are looking at 5 things that we saw from today's game. Kudus Mohammed is losing it. And I'm sorry to say it, but that is the harsh reality. Kudus Mohammed is losing it. To the extent that Kudus could not convert from the 12 yards from the penalty spot. That for me is, let me see, the highest point of the fall of Kudus. So the highest point of his fall is that Kudus is unable to convert a penalty kick. That's a problem. Kudus could not convert from the 12 yards out. Apart from the penalty, check his general gameplay. Check his general gameplay from the World Cup where he did very well. I think Kudus at the Black Stars seems to be going down. So we can look at his involvement in the African Cup of Nations. We can look at his involvement as far as even the World Cup qualifiers that we won was concerned. And then the AFCON qualifiers. For the AFCON qualifiers, he's been here throughout all the 6 games. And it has been disastrous to be charitable to Kudus Mohammed. Kudus is going down, and he ought to be careful with that. He must, as it were, work on it. He must, as it were, have a reflection, a sober reflection on his Black Stars gameplay, how things are not moving for him. The fact that he picks the ball, he doesn't want to pass, and times that he wants to release the ball, it is when he has no options and all of that. I think that Kudus ought to be careful with the kind of football that he's playing recently. That is something that he ought to be careful with. Now, let's go to the other important point. And the point is that, of course, the local players will need much more exposure. The local players will need much more exposure. This is what I found out in today's game. Remember, on Friday, the whole country talked about Razak Simpson and how he stole the show, how Razak Simpson was all over, how Razak Simpson was involved in play, and how Razak Simpson commanded the back. In today's game, truth be told, Razak Simpson could be blamed for almost the two goals that we conceded, because as center halves they were not jumping, as center halves they were not helping out the goalkeeper, and in general, you look at his composure on his first day, you compare that to his composure today, and you could see he was a little bit jittery. But I think I need to advise Razak Simpson here. Razak was trying to over-impress because he did well on his debut. He was thinking that he's the commander, I am here, I want to do everything. And then all of a sudden, he started making unpardonable mistakes. Look at Isaac Afo. When he started out and his running was good, he sent in some good in-swingers, his crosses were good. But when we considered the goal, he also started being jittery. So we need these local boys to be with the team, to have a lot of experience. It is the reason I wanted a chunk of this team, the last 2 games, to be locally based, so that even qualifying, preparing for that Nigerian game in the Chan qualifiers, the Black Galaxies boys would have had a lot of experience. But it was good that we had Razak Simpson, we had Afu, and then later on in the game, Ebenezer Aban of Pandu Out of Lions also came in there. Unfortunately, Asante Kotoko's Emmanuel Entry did not get a feel of what it takes to play for the Black Stars. In the 2 games, he did not even get a single minute. So that was it. But I think the local players will need a lot of experience. Finally, one thing that we noticed in today's game is that the Black Stars are coachless. The Black Stars do not have a coach. There's somebody there running affairs, but seriously speaking, he is not a good coach. Because you look at Otuado, you look at his demeanor on the bench, and look at what he did today. When we equalized, he ran the full throttle to the pitch, and quite surprising. See, this is not a goal that is winning us the African Cup of Nations. This is not a goal that is qualifying us to the African Cup of Nations. This is not a goal that is qualifying us to the finals of the FIFA World Cup. It is a goal that was equalizing versus Niger, the country that is ranked 131 by FIFA. And then we equalized, and the coach ran from his bench to the middle of the park. See, even the boy who scored the goal, Jerry Efriye, he knew the goal was less important, so he was not running around to jubilate. But the Black Stars coach runs the full throttle to meet the player. I think that The Black Stars is coachless, and that is something that we all know. We can be hypocrites and think that, oh, all is well, or all will be well, or we can master and come back. But I am telling you that the Black Stars is coachless. We need a coach, and these are the 5 things that we learned from today's game. Very, very disturbing that Black Stars could not make it to the AFCON 2025.